to this episode of Success Secret Podcast with your host Hussein Talib. In this episode, I have with me Bruno Cignacco to talk about how can companies be profitable and have a human-oriented approach in their business. So, Bruno is a best-selling author, researcher, consultant, and university professor, and the author of the book The Art of Compassionate Business. I love that name. It's a great name for a book.
Thank you.
So, Bruno, welcome.
Thank you, Hussein. Thank you for inviting me. I feel very honored to be here, and I am very excited to talk about this topic. Thank you very much again for your invite.
Awesome. It's a very interesting topic. But first of all, I want to know from you, because this is the Success Secret podcast, what does success means to you?
Very important question. Success, contrary to most people' opinions, success is not about wealth or money or resources. In my view, success is about building robust relationship with different people around you, not only close people, but could be acquaintances if you are working for a company with other colleagues, if you are, for example, in the customer service department with customers. So this means that, and there is a lot of research on this. I agree with this research. The most important success factor and the factor that bring about more happiness to people is strong relationship with people around. So I feel that this also applies to business, and this is my most important goal to disseminate this idea.
Hmm, cool. So now, what you are or what we are talking about here is kind of an interesting approach, I would say, to business, having compassionate business or compassion in business. So when I assume you talk about that, you talk about the business owner, the employees in the business, the dealing with the clients and customers. So it's a holistic approach within the business in that way, right?
Yes, I want to clarify a bit this point. You are right, but I want to expand on this topic.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about compassion, we're talking about a very important principle that applies to business relationship and non-business ones. In the case of business relationship, apply not only to people in the workplace, employees, colleagues, managers, the CEO, but also apply to other stakeholders. Stakeholders are individuals and groups with interest in our organization, and for example, apply to the employees when interacting with suppliers, employees when interacting with customers, employees when interacting with the community, with business partners, with the media. So this means that all stakeholders are important. And
Mm.
compassion, if we can define compassion, compassion is to understand how people think, to understand how people feel, and especially when they face challenging situations. For example, an employee might go through divorce, or a company might go through bankruptcy, and the employees are very worried. When people face challenging situations, they feel upset, they might feel fearful. It's important to be compassionate, implies how they think, understand how they feel, also identify how they feel, and try to support them when possible. A very simple example that I give in my talks is, imagine that the company has a good relationship with the supplier. The supplier is selling goods to this company, and on one occasion, this supplier delivered the goods late. So they couldn't meet the deadlines. And so if we check the contract, there is a contract between the supplier and the company. The contract will say that when the supplier delivers this good late, this supplier will be penalized. This means they will have a penalty, will have to pay some money to the company. However, if we approach this from a compassionate perspective, the company representative will talk to the supplier in person if possible, and we'll have one-to-one conversation, and we'll try to find out why the supplier delivered this good late. And also try to see if the company can help the supplier in the future to deliver this on time. We'll try to avoid applying this penalty, even though it's in the contract. Why? Because they want to strengthen this relationship with the supplier. They don't want to penalize the supplier and then make the supplier feel like they have been wrong. They don't want to make them feel that they have made a mistake, and it's not a mistake that can be considered as part of human beingness, but instead they try to approach this in a much more humane way. They try to support the supplier, they try to give some suggestion, and if possible, avoid applying this penalty. This is a different approach It's not an adversarial approach that you try to get something from the supplier. On the contrary, you try to support them. You try to care for them. Am I clear with this?
Yeah, it's like you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like,
The benefit, yes, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, because you don't know what happens in their life. Because I assume two people or two businesses would want to always keep in business. Like a business is there to always
Exactly, exactly,
exist and continue. So I don't
exactly.
think they could have intentionally, in your example, for example, that they wanted to delay the shipment, for example. So this is not should not be the case in general because business want to stay in business, and the way to stay in business is be honest, authentic, and support your business the right way, and service and value other people's times and money.
Exactly. But also, I want to add to what you said that is correct, that in business there are two type of variable, two type of factors. We have what we call quantitative factors, what can be measured, what can be counted. For example, profits, market shares, for example, sales, productivity. All these parameters can be measured in a precise way. These are very important for business success, for business survival, success, but also then you have qualitative aspect. Qualitative about what cannot be measured, what cannot be counted precisely. And these factors are, for example, empathy, compassion, care, support, camaraderie, loyalty. And this second group of factors, qualitative, are so important because help companies build strong relationship with the stakeholders. And when I explain this in my talk, they tell me, no, we want to make profit. We don't want to build relationship. But how you can make profit without strong relationship with the stakeholder? Because you need them. You need all the stakeholders. You are interdependent with this stakeholder. You cannot succeed without customers, without employees, without suppliers, without community members. Wouldn't be a good approach to put all these stakeholders on your side so that they can cooperate with you and you can cooperate with them, and you have a reciprocal relationship where both are supporting each other. So you don't expect only them to support you, but also you support them. So, and you are bringing about a positive cycle. So this means that most companies try to focus on quantitative aspect. How much profit we can get? What are the sales this month? This is okay, but they're forgetting the qualitative aspect, what build a strong relationship with the stakeholder. When you build a strong relationship with the stakeholder, this quantitative aspect, profit, market share, take care of themselves. Why? Because you are supported by all these stakeholders, and this creates a synergy, a very important positive cycle that the company naturally succeed. Doesn't have to force any success. Naturally succeed. Why? Because is supported by a stakeholder that they feel acknowledged, they feel taken care of, they feel valued. Am I clear?
Yeah, definitely. Like this is you could make a quick profit, but if you only focus on the profits, you might not see clients and customers stay for the long term.
Exactly.
That's
Good.
very important. You want people to actually stay for as long as they can stay with
Yes,
you.
yes. And imagine if you focus only on profits, many companies, when they only focus on profit, they focus on profit by all means. They try to obtain profit by all means, which implies polluting the environment, deceiving customers, exploiting employees because they don't focus on this stakeholder. They focus only on profit. If you take this to the extreme, you take profits, but you do at the expense of the relationship that you could have built with these stakeholders. Instead, when you focus on these relationships that are the basis of any business activity, many people will tell me, no, the most important factor in business is money. No, the most important factor in business is technology. I tell them the most important factor in business is the human being. Building a strong, long-lasting relationship with the stakeholder. When you build this relationship, all the other aspect of business, profit, market share, they take care of themselves. An example is very simple. You serve a customer well. You give them more than they expect. So we call this in marketing, we call delighting customer, not only satisfying customer, delighting. For example, you give some free gifts, you give some advice, you pamper them, you take care of them, not only as customer, but as an individual, as a human being. This customer will feel very happy, very excited, will feel very satisfied, will feel that this is an exceptional experience. And this customer, what they will do? They will leave positive reviews online. They will leave nice comments online, and they might give to some friend give positive recommendation about your company. This customer generate additional customer. So this means without you paying this customer to promote your product, this customer becomes an ambassador, an unpaid ambassador that is very credible. Why? Because the customer went through the experience of interacting with your company. Let's think about the opposite example. You treat this customer in the wrong way. You try to take advantage of this customer. You try to focus only on profit. You try to sell them the most expensive product. Why? Because you get the highest profit, but it's not the product that the customer needs. So you focus only on your needs, not on the customer needs. You want to get more profit, but you don't care about customer needs. Customer is a figure in your database. In this case, the customer will feel mistreated, disrespected, will leave negative reviews, won't come back to your company, and will push other potential customers away. So this means that this customer is not cooperating because you didn't treat them in a respectful, supportive way. You were not customer oriented. You were focusing only on yourself, on your profit, on your shares, market shares, and sales. So this means that focusing on others, building this strong relationship, help expand this network of support that a company needs for success. So a company cannot succeed without these stakeholders, because no company is an island. The company is part of a network of relationship with different stakeholders, and this relationship need to be nurtured like a water in a plant. They are not nurtured only with one interaction. Should be nurtured on a continuous basis. You should take care of them, but also you should take care of all their needs, because stakeholders have economic needs, they have mental needs, emotional needs, social needs. So you have to take care of every single need. In the case of, let me give you an example. In the case of employees have economic needs. They need a good salary to feel satisfied, to pay for the bills, but they have emotional needs. They need to be recognized. They need to be appreciated when they work hard, when they work overtime. And they have social needs. They need to socialize with colleagues, not only for business purposes. Maybe they can go out once a week to, for example, have dinner for social purposes, not to talking about a business topic. So this means that they have different needs that need to be addressed by the company's employees so that they can build a strong relationship with the stakeholders.
Yeah, definitely. It's very important. Eventually, people do business with other people. It's not like people do business with buildings. So
Good. Yes, very clear. I like your approach, because behind every role, when you say customer, this is a role in business. When you say customer service officer, this is a role. But they're human beings, flesh and bone, human beings that they have families, they have fears, they have good experiences, bad experiences, they have dreams, expectations. We have a commonality that we are all human beings, and we have needs, we have fears, we have emotion, we have expectation, and we need to be treated as human beings. Many customers are treated like a figure in the database. Oh, let's see how this customer contribute to my profit. You don't care about the customer really. You don't care. You try to sell any product, but you don't care because you only care the contribution of this customer to the profit. This is objectifying customer, treating like a figure, like a number. Not good. Customer discover this very easily. Customer feels really intuitively when the company cares for them and when the company only cares for profit. They
yeah,
feel it. Why? Because when the company cares for profit, the attitude of the company is, I want to sell you something. Is we call selling attitude. Instead, when the customer is treated in a respectful way, there is a completely different attitude that is adopted by the company that we call attitude of service. We want to serve you. We want to give you the best value. We want to support you. And by supporting you, we will generate indirectly profit. We don't support you, we won't generate any profit. The profit are the natural result of serving you in the best way possible, addressing your need in the most effective way.
definitely. Like thinking about that would make companies more profitable. Like you mentioned, the unpaid ambassadors or people who refer to to the business, because that's
Fundamental.
important. Without you actually telling other people to refer you, they will do that by themselves until this other people that they know that this business or this company does this and this and that, because now there is so much competition in general, and the consumers and customers now aware, not the like 50 years ago. It's you have Google, you can search everything, you can search the prices, different aspects of the products or services. So the customer is not just blindly buying certain things, they review things, and this is something that is very important.
Very
It will
important.
have an impact on the business on the long run.
Yes, and I want to add, I completely agree with you, but customer is so important and is so credible because it's more credible than other ways of promotion. Let's compare the promotion that is done by a customer, for example, leaving positive reviews online, and the advertising that is, for example, contracted by a company with advertising agency. When a company does advertising, they pay another company to advertise their product. These adverts won't show the negative aspect of the product. They will show only the strengths of the company. Why? Because when you advertise, you show only the positive aspect. So this means that these adverts are already biased because the company is paying for, and people know this. You won't see an advert say, oh, our product is not the best or the packaging is not so good. No. Instead, customer, when they review, they can review positive aspect and negative aspect. So you see, when you read any reviews, you will see that some of them are positive, some of them are negative. You will look for products that have most positive reviews, but you will have some products that have also some negative reviews. And this is okay because not all customers will agree on what the quality of the product. But in this case, customer is trying to help other customer and share their experience. They are more believable, more credible than advertising. For the reason the reviews are so popular. We call this review, technically speaking, they are called word of mouth. This means that the customer give their comments to others and try to help. And in some cases, the reviews are very detailed. Try to say, avoid this or buy this model, or I didn't like this part. But also these reviews, supposing that the company has a lot of negative reviews, and this happens sometimes, the company can learn from this review. This is what I call free research. The company is telling you in your face, you have to improve this if you want to satisfy my needs in the future, because you are not doing the thing correctly. I'm giving you feedback. Don't get offended, but I'm putting this publicly for you to read and correct the course of action in the future. This is fundamental. Many companies say, no, I have to interview customers. This is very costly. You have the research there, online, free. You read the review for your product, especially read the negative ones, because these are the ones that many people don't want to read because they feel uncomfortable. No, might give you some idea for innovation. It's supposing that they tell you, oh, you know what, the packaging of the product breaks down very easily. Maybe you can talk to the people in the production department that you can tell them, you know what, can we use another material for the packaging? Because there are many customers that are complaining about our packaging. Can we use a different packaging, different material, maybe stronger material? They give you insight for innovation. So the customer is a very important source of information for innovation, new packaging, new products, new ideas, and you don't have to pay them for this. They do this very willingly because most customers are opinionated. They like to talk a lot and they like to support other customers. This is a nice community of customers that try to support each other.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned there is very important. Like when you have a positive relationship, they could give you ideas for future products, future ways to develop the product without actually having the development of the business doing that.
Exactly. But even
Important.
But
Yeah.
even when customer is not satisfied, they provide you with good ideas. Because supposing that the customer is complaining, many customers complaining, you read the review that are public and you say, okay, many customers are complaining about this aspect of the product. We haven't noticed this. This is a blind spot. Why don't we check this? Because I can imagine that customer might be right. Many customers saying the same. Why don't we look into this? We don't say that they're right or wrong, but let's test this. Let's test other alternative. So this means that this is a valuable source of information that many companies leave aside. They dismiss because they say, no, it's too painful to read negative review. No, negative reviews help you grow as a business. They help you do things better. It's like a teacher giving you feedback. You say, you know, you didn't do well this time, maybe you can do better. I give you some suggestion. In some cases, customers don't give you this suggestion in a kind way. Some customers are angry when they are not satisfied with the product, but you have to leave the emotional out. When you read the review, you check the content. The content is what they try to suggest that we should do with this product, why the product is failing for them. Why it's about the packaging, it's about the ingredients, it's about the quality, it's about the delivery that is late. So read in detail and you will find commonalities. And many customers are saying similar things. Maybe you can get a look into this. And when companies look into this, they should have what I call multidisciplinary teams. This means I would like this meeting to have participants from different areas, from the production area, from the administrative area, from the marketing area, finance area. So you have different brains interacting with each other, and you have different views, and you have a much broader picture. We don't want only the marketing department analyzing this. We want the marketing department with the production department, the finance department, accounting. Am I clear? So this is very important, even for a small company that have a small section or division within the company. It's important to have these multidisciplinary meetings.
Yeah, definitely. This is very important. Like in your example, advertising, it could be very false. Like we all know the McDonald's Big Mac advertisement, how it looks on ads and how it looks in real life, I guess. So
Advertising has its place in business, but it's less credible than word of mouth. You are right.
yeah, word of mouth is way better and more trusty because when someone's talking about you, it it will highly convert more than ads, for example, because I guess like more touching points needed for people to buy, especially after COVID also, I guess. So there's a lot of things that need to be considered, and you need to shine in the place of competitiveness in the business space. It's very because you cannot always compete on price because competing on price is not always the answer, right?
Competing on price, well, I have a view on competition that I want to share later on, but what I will say, more than competing, think about adding value, because when you're talking about competition, you're always thinking about other companies. And when you talk too much about competition, I don't say that competition is wrong or right, but competition in many cases is fear driven. So this means that you are fearful of other companies beating you or outpacing you. If you are driven by fear, it's very unlikely that you succeed, because when you are fear driven, your mental skills, your discerning skill, creative skill tend to be narrowed down to the threat at hand. I will say better than use the word competition that is used in sport, but is also used in business. I will say, how can we add value? How can we add outstanding value to this customer? Or you can use a different question and say, how can I solve the most relevant customer problems? Adding value or solving problems is the two different sides of the same coin. You are adding value, but also you are solving problems. For example, if you are selling holiday packs, people go on holiday, you're selling, you're a tourism agency. You are adding value by providing all these packs that include the flights, the accommodation, and so on, but also you are resolving a problem. You're solving a problem that could be boredom. Customer might be boredom, they want to go on holiday, or they are stressed, they want to relax. So I won't focus so much on competition, but I will focus much more on adding value. How can I add outstanding value? But also I will ask myself another question. How can I be more generous with customers? And it's a counterintuitive question, because many companies try to ask the opposite question. How can I get something from this customer? How can I get more sales? How can I get more products bought by this customer? This is the wrong question, because when you ask about what you can obtain, what you can get, more sales, market share, you are focusing on your company's objective. And we saw that to build relationship with customers and other stakeholders, you have to focus on them, on their needs. So the best approach is, how can I be more of service to this customer? How can I add more value? How can I be more generous? Some company might say, oh, but I don't have resources to be more generous. To be generous, you can be generous in two ways. You can, for example, provide customer with, let's say, if they're buying a mobile phone from a mobile phone shop, you can provide a case free. maybe it's not very costly. It's already included in the price. You say, oh, you know what? With this deal, we include a case free for your mobile so that you can use and so on. But you can also, these are tangible things, but you can also give intangible things. For example, advice. When the customer is a bit confused, you might say, supposing that they want to buy a computer, go to a computer shop, I'm not sure what computer to buy. And then you take your time, you don't rush. You say, okay, let's have a look at this. I will show you different computers. Let me know what is the memory that you want. You give advice in a kind way, trying to find the right computer for them. Maybe it's the cheapest one, maybe it's the most expensive one. Doesn't matter. You try to satisfy their needs. And maybe you don't have the computer. If you don't have the computer, you say, sorry, we don't have this computer. You might even recommend another organization that might sell this computer. And you say, you will recommend another. Customer will appreciate this because you are being frontal, honest, and transparent. You don't try to force them into buy anything. So you are generous. You try the best for them to have their life improve with a nice computer or a nice mobile and so on. Every time that the customer buys a product, they want to experience positive emotion. They want to feel at ease, happy, gleeful, and they want to avoid negative emotion. They want to avoid feeling fearful or angry or sad. So by providing the best value, you can prompt customer to experience this positive emotion. When you say that the customer is satisfied, it's because the customer is already experiencing positive emotion. Many companies miss the point and try to focus only on their own objective, on the company's objective, profit, market share, and so on. And they forget that where all this profit, market share come from? From serving a customer in the most effective way, from addressing the customer need in the most respectful, authentic, and transparent way.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned generosity. Like, this is something that is, it's not like kind of you're serving a customer. It's like you kind of serving a guest at your house, I guess.
Exactly, exactly. It's hospitable, but also there is a lot of research on generosity. In my book, I have a full chapter on generosity. Generosity, according to research, generate more generosity. So when you are generous to others, they tend to be generous to you. So supposing that you are so generous that the customer feel that this was the best customer experience that they have. You, for example, you have a restaurant, and when the customer come to eat at your restaurant, you treat them like you treat a friend, not like a customer. You treat like a friend. You give the best food, the best recommendation, nice quality food, good price, best waiters, services, and also customer feel don't rush them. They can stay as much as they want, and they have a very nice experience. The place is very comfortable. This customer feel that they got more that they were looking for. They feel delighted. We call delighted. When you delight customers, you give them more than they expect, and you surprise it in a positive way. And what this why this happen? Because customer only expect the minimum, but if you give them more than the minimum, the basic, customer feels surprised in a positive way. We call, technically speaking, it's called positive disconfirmation. When customer experience this positive disconfirmation, this surprise, positive surprise, feel indebted. They feel indebted to give back. They say, oh, they gave me so much, they treat me so well, that at least I will leave a nice review online, or I will at least I recommend this place to my friend, because you were generous and customers were very well treated and felt touched by your generosity, that feel reciprocal, to act in a reciprocal way. They feel that they need to be generous, at least leaving a positive review online or recommending your play. When you act in the opposite way, you act in a stingy way, means you think about yourself only as a company, customer feel this and will say, oh, this company is only trying to sell me something that I don't need. I will leave negative reviews. I will push other customers away. When you are not generous, customer behave in a non-cooperative way. They will try to withdraw. They will try to push customer away, other customer away. So generosity begets generosity. Being self-centered bring about customer withdrawing, employees withdrawing, business partner withdrawing. So it's important to bear in mind the concept of building a strong relationship with all the stakeholders, because at the end, they need us, but we need them as a business. We need them for our company success.
Definitely, yes. So, what is the best piece of advice or the worst piece of advice that you have ever been given?
Yeah, the best piece of advice is be thankful. People want to feel that they care. They care for each other, but also they want to feel that they are valued. So I see many times in companies, especially in the workplace, uh, managers and bosses that they are very ungrateful with the employees. For example, I saw example of an employee working for a full month, not seeing their family at the end of the day for a long time. Why? Because they were working until late. This boss knew clearly that this employee was doing this to contribute to the company's objective, to meet a very important deadline. The deadline was met. This boss didn't even say thank you in person, not even with an email. They took this employee for granted. What happened the following month? This employee left the company. Why? This employee was earning a very good salary, was very well paid, but they didn't feel appreciated. They didn't feel that they counted. They feel dismissed. And this employee thought, if I was contributing a lot and I wasn't recognized, why I should care for this company if they don't care for me? So again, the reciprocity, the social reciprocity. You treat employees like a garbage, and this employee feel offended, disrespected with a lot of reason, and they will leave the company even if they are earning the highest salary, because with the salary you are only meeting the employees' economic needs, but you're not meeting the emotional needs. They want to feel that they are of value, they are of contribution for the company's objective, and this employee didn't feel. So a question that a listener can ask themselves: how can I be more thankful with people around me if I'm working for a company, with my colleagues, with my boss? How can I be more thankful with this customer? You can be thankful with customer too, because customer is taking the time to check your products. Even if they don't buy anything, you should be thankful all the same, because they spend time at least comparing and analyzing your products. But if they buy your product, you send a very clear, personalized letter thanking them, for example, by email or by post, explaining why they were so important. And you are very thankful, explaining that this product was relevant for them to buy and so on. So being thankful again generate more gratitude on the other side. When you are ungrateful, people tend to behave in an ungrateful way too. So ungratefulness is not good. Lack of gratitude bring about lower profits, lower sales. Why? Because people don't cooperate. Customer won't cooperate, employees won't cooperate, and we saw that we need customer, employees, and supplier and so on. This applies to every, what I'm talking about here apply to every single stakeholders.
Definitely, yes, definitely. That's very important to have the service and helping of other people, the number one way, and they will reciprocate that in a way if you do that. If you don't do it the right way, the business won't last long. So, Bruno, where can people learn more about you, get in touch with you, and get your book, The
Okay.
Art of
Yeah.
Compassionate Business?
Yeah, the book can be found online or offline. It's sold by Routledge worldwide, and it's the second edition of the book. It's white cover. The first edition is a little outdated. It's black. If you look for this book, will be the white cover. You can find on Amazon or any other bookshop, online or offline, including physical bookshops. And also they can find me also on my website, www.brunocignacco.com, Cignacco with double C before the O. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, that I have a lot of followers, and the people can also contact me. I'm very open. And also I always post some articles on LinkedIn. These are the three ways that they can contact me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bruno, very much for this one. Like, you provided a new perspective into business and having this kind of approach of that it is about having relationships with employees, customers, vendors, suppliers, sellers, buyers, all of these aspects of the business that are eventually it's people buy from people. Thank you very much for being with me on this episode.
I feel very honored to be here. Thank you very much, Hussein. Thank you very much again.